student or whoever's watching this, 1-3 is what we're doing today. This is kind of shorter, I guess, and not a very hard section, I don't think. Line segments. The first concept that we do is something called the betweenness of points. Betweenness of points. Here's what betweenness of points says. Circle this little guy right here. AC plus CB equals AB, and I'm going to illustrate it with a diagram. So draw this line right. Oh, no. We don't want arrows on our line. What? We don't want arrows on our line. Get rid of the arrow. We're going to put a dot on the end of it. Gosh dang it. I always do that. Dot on this end, dot on this end. And I'm going to call this guy A, and I'm going to call this guy B. Okay? Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put C down on that line, but I'm going to put him closer to one side or the other so he doesn't look like he's exactly in the middle. Okay? I'm going to do that on purpose. Here's what the betweenness of points says. If I know the length from A to C, and I know the length from C to B, and I add them together, that makes the length from A to B. Woo. If this is 3 and this is 7, the whole length is 10, right? Like, how exciting is that, okay? Now, I put C on this side for a reason, because this works if C is exactly in the middle, like 5 plus 5 would make 10, but it also works, I mean, they don't have to be the same size, okay? So, you take the one piece, add it to the other piece, and it makes the full piece, okay? So AC is the one piece, you add that to the other piece, and it's equal to the full piece. That's how that works, okay? Here we go. Find the measure of XZ is the first example. XZ is from here to here, okay? I know each individual length, but I want to know XZ. Can you add those together in your head? 15.1. 15.1, you are right, and I'm just going to go fill it in right here. 15.1, that's what he is. Okay, I'm just adding those together and finding the whole length. Now, let's go to, we're not going to do the check. If you want to do the check by yourself, you can. Go to example 2, the next page. Flip over. Flip over. They want us to find the measure of QR. Now, I know QR is what I'm trying to look for. He is one of the smaller pieces. So I'm doing, this guy is 6 5/8. This full guy is 13 3/4. So explain to me how you're going to do this.
Turn 3/4 into 6/8.
Subtract. Yep, 13 3/4. You're right, Remington. We're going to subtract. And then Remington says we have to make a common denominator. All right, my denominators right now are 4 and 8.
7 and 1.
Okay, so this guy right here, if we change him to be 8, I take 4 times 2 to get 8. I take 3 times 2 to get... Do we know how to make this?
Pardon?
Like, what is 3/4 in terms of 8s? 6 8s, right? If I'm multiplying by 2. Do we know how to do that? Is that confusing at all? Okay. All right, so 6 8s. Do we have to borrow? Do you know what I'm talking about when I say borrow? Do we have to borrow any?
No.
Like, if I'm subtracting the fractiony part, 6 8s minus 5 8s, is that going to work? Can we do that? Okay, so I don't have to borrow anything. What is 6 8s minus 5 8s? 1/8, okay? And what is 13 minus 6? 7. Because we didn't have to borrow, that was a little bit easier. And 7 1/8, and that is in feet. That is what QR is, okay? We did follow the steps, but I didn't write it in the right spot. So if you want to write it in the right spot, you can. I'm not very good at that, writing it in the blanks that they're provided. So anyway, there's that, right? So adding, subtracting fractions, you need a common denominator. All right, here's the deal. Read the instructions. Ready? Find the value of X and the value of BC. I say read the instructions because you're going to find the value of X and move on to the next one, and then you'll miss half of the problem. Make sure you read to see if you are done with the problem. All right, here's the diagram that they give us, okay? They say this length right here is X, this length right here is 2X plus 3, and the whole length is 4X minus 12. How the heck do I do that? It's still the same concept of betweenness of points. You add the two pieces together to make the full piece. It's just going to be like algebra, okay? So what two things am I adding together? X plus 2X plus 3 is the other chunk, equals 4X minus 12, yeah? Okay, now they have it written right here. Can I move down over here? Down over here, we'll follow the steps. So this is the whole piece. x was one piece, and then 2x plus 3 was the other piece, right? We're adding those together. Okay, so down over here. All right, what would you like to do first? What did they do? What are they wanting you to do first?
Take away 3x.
Add the x and the 2x together, right, to make 3x, okay? Then what did you do? Subtract the 3x over, yep. Okay, subtract 3x, and 4x minus 3x is just x. They've got minus 12 equals 3. Okay, then what? Add the 12, so x is 15. If the blanks confuse you, do it in a different spot. Okay, don't follow their blanks if the blanks confuse you. Okay, but we're not done yet. They want us to also, in the instructions, they say find BC, right? The length of BC. BC was 2x plus 3. That was that part. So I'm going to plug 15 in for x. And can you do that in your head? 2 times 15 is 30, and 30 plus 3 is 33. So 33 is this second answer. 15 is one answer, 33 is the other answer. Not too bad, right? Like, this is pretty easy. Good questions so far? Betweenness of points. We're taking two chunks together, adding them, and getting the full chunk. All right, here we go. Use betweenness of points. I skip a lot of this, like writing stuff, but we're going to use their diagram that they have. Okay, this is the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. That's what this thing is. Have you ever seen it? Anybody ever been there? Hey, look at that. Seattle, Washington, Space Needle. This is what this is called. Okay, so they're going to give us some dimensions. They first of all give us the entire height, which is on the left side here. Whoop. Entire height right here. And then they give us the distance from ground to the bottom of the compartment where you can look out. And then they give us the height of the compartment. Okay, so they're going to give us all that stuff in the paragraph. Let's see what we can find. All right, Daryl is visiting the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. He knows that the total height of the Space Needle is 605 feet. Let's label it. Where does that go? On the left, 605. Okay, all right, now here's the tricky part. The distance from the ground to the observation deck is 10 feet more than 6 times the distance of the observation deck.
So it's 6x plus 10.
Yeah, 6 times more than that distance, 10 feet more than 6 times that distance. Okay, then what's the top? X, right? This distance is X, and this is 6 times more plus 10. Do we see how that works? Questions about that? So, how can we solve this?
6x plus 10 plus x.
That's the first piece, plus, yep. Megan says the second piece equals 605. Let's solve it. I'm just going to do it right here in this little spot. Okay, 6x plus 10 plus x equals 605. Questions as to how we got that far? Okay, all right, what are you going to do first?
7x
Yep, 6x and x is 7x plus 10 equals 605. If you guys can skip steps and do some of that in your head, that's fine. Minus 10, 7x equals, subtract 10, 595. Okay, don't use your calculator. I'm challenging you. Can you divide that by 7? 59 divided by 7 is 8, because that's 56. Okay, what do you have to carry over?
Oh, so it's 85.
3, yeah, right? So 7 goes into 59, that's 56, which would be 8. 8 times 7 is 56. 56 from 59 is 3, so 35 is what I have left over. 7 into 35 is 5, so 85. You see how we did that, kind of? Okay, you can use a calculator, but if you try, you can figure that out. The observation deck is 85 feet tall, but they want, what do they want? What is the distance from the ground to the observation deck? Yep, we have to plug it back in here. So 6 times 85 plus 10. Anybody? 520. 520. Now, also, Remington just said, hey, right? Was this what you were going to say? 605 is the total. We know that this is 85. The rest of it's that. So rather than plugging it into the 6x plus 10, we could just subtract it, right? That makes sense? So 520 feet is that distance. Okay, make sure that you read the instructions so you know what you're looking for. Got it? All right, last concept on the back page is talking about congruent segments. So you remember before when I drew that diagram and I put A here and C here, or excuse me, B there, A and B, and then I put C right here. Now we're going to be dealing with the fact that they are the same size. So C is not going to be here, C is going to be exactly in the middle, okay? And here's how you know that those two sides are the same. They use this notation for congruent segments. Congruent means same length, right? So I know, other than the fact that this has the same length on it, I know because of that those two are the same length. They put little tick marks in there, okay? In geometry, we get to the point where we're dealing with like shapes, okay? You don't have to draw this if you don't want to, just watch, okay? If I want to show that this length is the same as this one, I just put tick marks there, okay? Now, let's say I want to show that this one is the same length as this one.
Put 2.
Yeah, I can. I can put one tick mark there, but then all 4 of them would be the same, right?
Mhm.
If these bottom 2 aren't the same as the top 2, but they're the same as each other, I would put 2 tick marks, or I can use 3 tick marks, or whatever else, right? That's what you use to note that like they're the same length, okay? Now, the symbol for congruent is this guy. Practice drawing him, an equal sign with a little squiggle over top of it, and that's the symbol for congruent. That means they are the same length, okay? Equal sign with a little squiggle over top of it. That's how you denote that. All right, down here in this diagram, they say find the value of x if Q is between P and R and blah, 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 and all the rest of the stuff, and PQ is congruent to QR. I know by looking at the diagram that they're congruent because of the tick marks. Now, the problem with this is that they don't give me the full distance. But if I know they are the same length, I don't need to know what the full distance is, right? I know that the first chunk is 6x plus 20, and I know the second chunk is 2 times x plus 6.
You just set them equal.
Can I set them equal to each other? Sure, I can set them equal because the distances are the same, right? Okay, so I'm just going to set them equal, and I'm going to do my math right below. What would you like to do first? Distribute your 2, right? So 6x plus 20 is just chilling, equals 2x plus 12. All right, then what would you like to move first?
The 2.
The 2 minus the 2x. Okay, we're big kids now, right? Can you minus the 2x and subtract the 20 at the same time? Okay, so I'm going to get the x's together on the left, get the numbers together on the right, okay? So 6x minus 2x is what I have over here. So 4x equals what? Negative 8, and then divide by 4. What is negative 8 divided by 4? Negative 2. X is negative 2. Now, do we have to plug back in? If we reread the question, it says find the value of x. Nope, we're done. Did you see how that works? When they're congruent, when it says they're congruent, you can just set them equal to each other. You don't have to add them together and set them equal to the total. Okay? And that is all. Is that it? Hey, look at that. We're all done. 2 through 32 the evens, 40 and 48. We're going to do number 10 together real quick. 2 through 32 evens, 40 and 48. Some of them are real fast, especially like the first 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Those are real fast. Add them together. Let's do number 10 real quick because they do not give you a diagram for number 10. Okay? So, reading the instructions, it says find the value of the variable. So, what's the variable on number 10? C. Okay, so we have to find the value of C. I'm going to put that down so I make sure I remember it. And up in the instructions, it says find the value of the variable and YZ. So, I'm going to put those down so I don't forget to answer all the questions. There it is. Got it? Okay, here's what it says. Y is between X and Z. So I'm going to draw my diagram right here. X is here, Z is here. Does it say Y is exactly between? No, so I'm going to put Y off to the side over here so that it prevents me from trying to set them equal to each other. Does that make sense? Okay, it does not say that it's exactly between. We do not know that those are equal. Okay, now I put all of this information into my diagram and we go. It says XY is 11, so this distance right here is 11. YZ is 4C, and the whole thing is 83. Okay, so now you have your diagram drawn. You want me to keep going? Maybe? Sure? How do you set it up? 11 plus 4C, so the two independent pieces added together equals 83. Okay, let's subtract the 11. Do you know what 83 minus 11 is? 72. Okay, can you divide 72 by 4 in your head?
Yeah. 18.
Yep, 4 goes into 7 once with 3 left over. That would be 32. And 32 divided by 4 is 18. So C is 18. Now, we're not done yet. This is 18. C is 18. We need to know what YZ is. YZ right here is 4 times C. And 4 times 18 was 72. Right? There we go. All done. Okay, so that's what your diagram is going to look like. I would draw it out. You do not have to do any of the odds. So if you want to flood some of your work over into this area, you sure can. Okay, like you can take over. Got it? Questions? Beautiful. Goodbye.